Okay, so let's go ahead and start off. First off, never, ever, ever, ever put aluminum coating on the granulated material. And the reason why is because it starts this chemical breakdown. And what will happen is you'll start to see this spider webbing, these cracks everywhere. And the reason why is because this degrades the material. The chemical compound literally eats it apart. My guess is this was done relatively recently, but you can see what's happening here. This chimney is open. It looks like somebody put a piece of rubber on, but really this base, if you look here, is wide open. Now, of course, if you just put flashing here, but don't cover up top. Concrete, it's important to remember, is porous unless it's done at a high PSI like a Home Depot floor where it's got that high PSI finish. This is porous. This is basically a big sponge. So it's definitely just absorbing water and trailing it in. Secondly, we have the fact that this is an old blind nail system, so it was an inferior roof to begin with, and no fault of your own, just whoever installed it. And then you've got other areas that are suspect. Now, what I would do here is cover this in rubber, wrap that chimney entirely, and then put new edge metal capping across the front down onto this, because this should have never been done. See these? So imagine if you had a tire, a bike tire that was like this. How much air could it hold? And then conversely, for a roof, how much protection against the elements do you get? This box seemed to be reflashed. But see this, what's happening here? This is going to start to happen everywhere. Because when you look at it from a glance, you see, but when you see like what rain sees, then you see these. So if you had an umbrella and you're out on a sunny day, you'd be fine. But on a rainy day, if you had an umbrella with these splits, holes, you're going to continue to have issues with water coming in. So I would do the same thing here. I would wrap the back of this with rubber though, just cover that with caulk. So that's nothing. It's nothing unusual. I've seen a lot worse. And then this, we just wrap this whole thing. If you're invested in living here and you're going to be here for a while, I would do the same thing here. So it's 5 rolls up here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 26. Yeah, this is exactly why you don't put aluminum coating on a granulated material. It's corrosive. So it looks like somebody tried to stop a leak before here.
I mean, that's a whole,
and it would have.
keeping the water out.
Well, it would have been better off if they solved the original issue was having the water get past and into the box.
Yeah.
So they were figuring, well, it's got to be coming from the window.
And you want to throw estimate that like the roof is primary, I would almost think maybe that's a phase 2.
Honestly, a cheaper option for something like this is silicone around the edges. Your other thing, and then you move into $200 a window, is bringing new metal down on top of this all the way around.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be against working on something like that next year.
Okay, yeah. And it's important to remember too, like if you want to go better windows, often what's possible to do is there are overstocks. What is it? Oregon Window Supply is a place down in South Philly, and what they have is a warehouse full of overstocks, misorders, people who paid for an order never picked them up or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can go and get a $250, $300 window for $150
All right.
because it's just taking up space. It's a brother and sister outfit. Anyway, flashing here. This should have been wrapped in rubber, which is why the flashing failed. It's not meant for a vertical application to be the only substrate between the structure and the roof. Oh yeah, there's this. Here's your problem here. Let's go upside down real quick. So what they did here was they fell short on the corner post, right? And a lot of times, guys make the mistake. They run short on the upper and run the lower down into the ground. That's a no-no. Because where is this water going to go? Well, if you know how funnels work, this is literally being funneled into your house because they close the bottom. Siding should have a minimum clearance of 1 inch between the vertical structure and the horizontal application of the roof. And the reason why, obviously, is for that to be able to run down and out. So what has to happen here is 2 things. Number 1, this has to be covered up with coil stock. That's nothing. That's nothing. And this down there will no longer be a problem, but the reason why you're seeing this is because this is open and this is open. Considering there's almost 500 square foot of volume of precipitation coming down here being rocketed due to the length. You've got overspray that's happening in a nice heavy rain, but this and this are what's causing your problem. So let me see if I can take a picture of this just to show you. But yeah, this is, it's nothing terrible. You got good decking. I'm a bit of a fat boy, so you know, I'm 220. You don't have any bad wood, so you can literally roll right over top of this, with the exception of cutting that area out. Run that boot through there. I wouldn't charge anything for that. Really, I wouldn't charge anything for this either. That can be covered with coil. That can be covered with coil. And then just run the new roof and run new edge metal capping around on top of that. That's pretty simple. And then run this, wrap this, because this is separating back here, and you don't want that going down into the siding because they didn't run it correctly. You got brick showing there. So yeah, I will cut this off so it's nice and flush, and then just wrap this thing as well, as this traps water.